Reasons for revolts against French colonial rule. The revolts against French colonial rule in various countries can be attributed to a combination of historical grievances, socio-economic factors, political aspirations, and cultural identity. These revolts have often been fueled by the desire for independence and self-determination among colonized peoples. French colonialism has a long history characterized by exploitation, oppression, and cultural imposition. France established colonies primarily in Africa, the Caribbean, and Southeast Asia from the 17th century onwards. The legacy of colonialism includes economic extraction of resources, forced labor, and systemic racism. Many colonies were subjected to harsh treatment and policies that marginalized local populations. Colonial economies were structured to benefit the colonizers at the expense of local populations. This often resulted in widespread poverty, unemployment, and lack of access to education and healthcare for indigenous people. As these nations began to develop their own identities post-World War II, the stark inequalities fostered by colonial rule became increasingly intolerable. The mid-20th century was marked by a wave of decolonization across Africa and Asia. Nationalist movements emerged as leaders sought to reclaim sovereignty from colonial powers. In many cases, these movements were inspired by global trends, advocating for human rights and self-determination following the atrocities of World War II. The United Nations also played a role in promoting decolonization during this period. Colonial rule often involved the suppression of local cultures in favor of French language and customs. This led to a resurgence of national pride among colonized peoples who sought to revive their cultural heritage. The desire to reclaim cultural identity has been a significant motivator behind revolts against French authority. Several countries have successfully expelled French colonial forces or achieved independence from France through various means. Algeria. Perhaps one of the most notable examples is Algeria's War of Independence, 1954 to 1962, which was marked by brutal conflict resulting in Algeria gaining independence from France after over 130 years of colonial rule. Vietnam. Following World War II, Vietnam fought against French colonial forces, leading to the First Indochina War, 1946 to 1954. The decisive victory at Dien Bien Phu led to the Geneva Accords and Vietnam's division into North and South, but marked the end of French colonial rule in Indochina. Senegal. Senegal was part of French West Africa, but gained independence peacefully on April 4, 1960. The movement towards independence was influenced by both nationalist sentiments within Senegal and broader decolonization trends across Africa. Mali gained its independence from France on September 22, 1960, following a series of negotiations that reflected growing anti-colonial sentiment throughout West Africa. Ivory Coast, Côte d'Ivoire, gained independence on August 7, 1960. Like many other former colonies, it experienced a gradual transition towards self-governance amidst rising nationalist sentiments. Madagascar declared its independence from France on June 26, 1960, after a violent uprising known as the Malagasy Uprising in 1947 that was brutally suppressed by French forces. These examples illustrate how various nations have resisted French colonialism through both armed struggle and diplomatic negotiations leading to eventual independence. The revolts against French colonial rule are rooted deeply in historical injustices that fostered socio-economic disparities and suppressed cultural identities. As nations around the world continue to grapple with their colonial pasts, understanding these dynamics is crucial for addressing ongoing issues related to post-colonial governance and social equity.